Welcome to Watkins Glen International for race number 22 of the RSR Asphalt Assault Series. It's going to be an exciting race here for the Thursday night series. We're going to turn right and left for the second time in this 2013 campaign. Tim Terry and Kyle Lend here to call all the action for you. Also have Steve Bonestill kicking around here as well, getting ready to report on the race. Kyle, this is an exciting time for the RSR Asphalt Assault. We've already done one race at the road courses. Road America was a few weeks back, over a month ago. Chad Cole won that race. He's in here this evening. He is subbing for Matt Lacrosse, and Matt Lacrosse might find himself with another victory this season.
It's very likely. Last year, Chad Cole won this thing after he started first. He finished first. The odds are definitely good for him. We're looking at this practice right now. He's actually first in practice. So definitely a very good road course racer.
And a great week it was last week for this RSR Asphalt Assault Series when this series visited the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. It was a 65-lap affair last week, won by Bobby Terrell. Dave Lanza came home in second. Mark Bratcher in position number 3. Rhett McBride and Doug Roth completed your top 5, with Clint Monahan, Glenn Campbell, Bobby Wetzel, Matt Lacrosse, and Jason Lester completing your top 10. One driver I don't see in that top 10 is your point leader, Stefan Marinak. He had an off night, finishing in position number 17, second to last driver on the lead lap. Marinak is good at these road courses. He should be one to watch here this evening, but your point leader last week, 17th on the grid. So he's going to have to pick it up a little bit here to maintain his what seems to be a huge point lead this season, Kyle.
Yeah, absolutely. He was actually completely flawless in Indianapolis last week till the last lap when he was actually battling Bobby Terrell for the win going into turn number 3 and just got down the apron and just took himself out. So definitely a mistake that you don't want to make, especially when you're going for first place in points. But he's 51 points ahead of Bobby Terrell in the points as we stand right now. But so he's still got a whole race and then some ahead of Bobby Terrell.
We'll get Laura to pop up those standings there, and you'll see them, as you mentioned, Kyle, 51 points, and then 64 back is C.J. LeVere in the 4. Pretty close between first and fourth right now, and with Chad Cole driving for Matt Lacrosse this evening, that 73-point margin up to first might seem like a lot, but he's only got 22 points to go to catch position number 2. Bobby Terrell really good at these road courses as well, but Chad Cole looking to get Matt Lacrosse a little bit closer in the standings. Clint Monahan right now in 5th. Rhett McBride, Brian Harvey, John Abbott, Bo McGuire, and Doug Wyatt completing your top 10 in the standings through 21 races. These drivers right now in their qualifying session as they get ready for 36 laps around the Watkins Glen International Raceway. And currently in qualifying, it is Chad Cole on top of the board with a 1-minute 12.476 second lap. And looks like drivers getting in their first laps here of the evening. Couple of drivers proving a little bit hard for this race course. They're trying to push it as hard as they can, and you don't want to get an off in qualifying because you're going to get an incident point, and that means your lap's not going to count.
No, absolutely not. This track is very unique, and it's very fast-paced. You got 11 turns here. And the trickiest portion of this track is the inner loop. As you enter that, you're at maximum speed, getting into that inner loop. So it's about getting down to speed, hitting your braking point, hitting your gear points. Otherwise, you're going in that kitty litter.
And when you look at this racetrack, Watkins Glen International in Watkins Glen, New York, owned by ISC, opened in 1956. The permanent circuit opened in 1956. It is a 2.4-mile road course, 8 turns on the NASCAR course, and it's steeped in history. The U.S. Grand Prix has been visiting this course back and forth for a few years since 1956. It has not been changed. The design has not been changed since 1971. Of course, the bus stop was added in 92 on the back straightaway, which you'll see here this evening, and it's a great passing zone to get those passes done, try to outbrake another driver into the corner. And this car is a blast to drive around this racetrack. These drivers are going to have a whole lot of fun. But as we mentioned, some of these drivers will be a little bit aggressive to try to get those passes made, especially at the start of this race where everybody's bunched up together. Get as much as you can on this start. You might see some drivers push it a little too far. We might have some drivers off, and that's what's going to make this start and these first few laps of this 36-lap race pretty exciting.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And when you talk about the passing points, the main passing points here are going to be entering turn number 1, and then entering turn number 5, which is the beginning of the inner loop, and then probably your other alternative, if you can't get it done there, would be turn number 10. But mainly you're going to see a lot of passes in turn number 1 and a lot of people outbraking other drivers in turn number 5.
Now, these drivers just wrapping up their qualifying session here. About 3 minutes to go before we do go racing this evening. I'm seeing at the bottom of the list Jose Gonzalez in position number 18, a position we're not used to seeing him in. We have a guy like Mark Bratcher. Mark Bratcher this evening, we should mention, is subbing for Clint Monahan. He is in position number 11 right now on the qualifying grid. And when you look at the standings, there is a close little battle here between about 8th place, John Abbott, with 589 points all the way back to the 13th place driver, Dave Lanza. It's pretty close in the standings there, about 20 or so points between 8th and 13th. That's John Abbott, Beau McGuire, Doug Wyatt, Glenn Campbell, Doug Roth, and Dave Lanza in that little battle there. So they're looking to pick up some points. Keep in mind, if you're new to this series, there's no drop races, no drop weeks in this series. You have what you have when you start out. Every week counts, so you can't really afford an off week, or you can't really afford a miscue. We see it in the point standings. Stefan Marinek has a 51-point lead over Bobby Terrell. The only way Terrell's going to catch up is if he gets up on the wheel, and Marinek, like last week, has a couple of issues.
Yeah, and Bobby Terrell has been getting up on the wheel. I actually been broadcasting here for now 4 weeks straight, and Bobby Terrell, he knows how to drive that car. And he's been very aggressive, especially these past 4 weeks. 7 wins, 12 top 5s, 13 top 10s. The only thing that's really hurting Bobby Terrell right now are the DNFs and the finishes outside the top 10. He's just some bad luck, but when he's on it, he's always up front leading laps and getting the job done.
And dug himself a hole at the start of the season as well. We are going to get ready to go racing, but before we do, we are going to send a trackside to the Cactus Cuties, who are going to sing us through our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave
And the virtual Thunderbirds with the flyover. The field is beginning to collect behind the first racing Ford Mustang pace car. And let us introduce you to the 30-car starting grid for round number 22 of the RSR Asphalt Assault Series, presented by Inside Sim Racing and Derek Spear Design. On to the front row, it's the 21 of Chad Cole subbing for Matt Lacrosse. And to the outside, second in points, second on the grid, it's the number 7 of Bobby Terrell.
Yeah, starting third place is going to be Aaron Truscott, and starting fourth is going to be Jimmy Jones in that 42 car.
Stefan Marinek, your point leader, will roll from position number 5 to the outside of the number 10 of John Abbott.
Starting seventh is going to be Rhett McBride, and on the outside of him is going to be number 26 of Jose Gonzalez.
Great qualifying run for the 57 of Barry Hines. He'll roll off from position number 9, and to the outside of him, Rich Jett in the 62.
Row number 6, just missing 10th place. It's going to be Douglas Wyatt, and to the outside of him is going to be that famous number 43, Doug Roth.
Brian Harvey will roll from position number 13. Looking down the standings, Brian Harvey 7th in the point standings, so he's looking to gain a little bit here this evening. And to the outside, subbing for Clint Monahan, it's Mark Bratcher in the 1.
Starting at 15th is going to be number 16, Marvin Turnmile Jr., and to the outside of him is going to be Dakota Ehrman in the number 29 car, ETVLIVE.
J. Randall Watkins will roll the 77 from position 17 as the field begins to roll down the front straightaway. To his outside, 71, Keith Brooks Jr.
In that Sim Pro Racing Series, Chevrolet is going to be the number 50 car, Beau McGuire, the number 19th spot, and starting 20th is going to be Glen Campbell, the number 44 car.
The Chef rolls off from position number 21. That's John Ellers, and to the outside of the 84 is Ben Burnett.
Starting in the 23rd spot is going to be the 05 of Chris Cable in the U.S. Air Force Chevrolet, and starting 24th is going to be Joey Hilton in the number 40 car.
We got Doug Fleming rolling off from position number 25 in the 28, and a driver who had some tough luck last night in the Outlaw Truck Division here at RSR. The 11 is Josh Cheney.
Starting 27th is going to be Bobby Wessel, and then starting 28th is going to be the 4 car of CJ Lever. Not a good qualifying position for him, being third into points.
The driver who had a dismal qualifying run at Road America and came back for a top 3 run is going to start in 29th. That's Dave Lanza. That's one driver who you're going to see him near the front of the field unless he has issues here in these first couple laps. And Eric Arnold in the 47 is going to complete your field. Chris Cable is going to start at the rear of the field. The 05 will start at the end of the longest line in position number 30. We are getting ready to go green. Just a couple of corners to go before we do send these guys off. Kyle, who's your pick to win this thing?
I'm going to be going with Chad Cole. Chad Cole has been phenomenal throughout the entire practice, flawless in qualifying, and I don't expect anything more than perfection for this race. I'm going with Chad Cole.
That's not a bad pick. I would say watch at 24, Marinek as well. Watch your point leader. He's looking for a 6th win of the season. Jose Gonzalez also going to the rear. On to this start is the first racing Ford Mustang pace car is going to look towards pit lane here. Here they go, and Chad Cole is in command of the field. 30 cars strong, getting ready to see the green silk for the first of 36 laps this evening, and we are underway with Cole looking towards corner number 1. The question is, does everybody get through corner number 1? Chad Cole's going to storm the corner. He's going to get through. Your top 5 are going to make it through. Big runoff area for anybody who can't make it down. We're 3 wide in the middle of the pack. The 77, 71, and 84 cars are 3 wide, and Ben Burnett is going to pick up 2 spots.
Yeah, but up front is Chad Cole. He got a great start there, and actually driving away from Bobby Terrell, who's right now in second. Aaron Truscott is right now in third, fourth Jimmy Jones, and fifth Stefan Marinek.
A lot of these drivers mid-pack tiptoeing through this first lap to make sure that they find themselves a place to race right now, and Top 10 or so are a single file. A couple of drivers out back picking up some spots. See the 66 of Brian Harvey a little bit high. The 84 underneath him of Ben Burnett seems to be the big mover of the race so far. Started in 18th, and he's looking like he's going to pick up 12th or 13th here with this pass on Brian Harvey.
Yeah, absolutely. Normally don't see that, that type of passing here at Watkins Glen, especially on lap 1, picking up all those positions. But he must have a really good hot rod right now to be able to do something like that.
And keep in mind, no cautions in this race. Some localized cautions, but there's not really anything to really rely on, really to back up with this the way this race runs. So you really need to pick up your spots as quickly as you can. You can't rely on that pit stop. These guys are going to have to make a pit stop in this race. You can't really rely on any mistakes on that pit stop if you're a guy like Chad Cole or Stefan Marinek, a driver that's really good at these road courses. You know how to hit your marks when we do come to pit stops and the rest of those cycles through. I see Doug Wyatt in the 12 losing a spot to Rich Jett in the 62. And that's what it seems to be right now. A couple of quick passes as the 12 takes a peek again on the 62. That's at position number 9 as they just came out of the bus stop and they are going down the straightaway.
Yeah, and we talk about mistakes, even on a track, there's no cautions here. So you make one mistake, you go in that kitty litter, you spin out. You might as well just, there's no way of you winning this race. So, no cautions isn't going to bunch up the field again, and you just got to be flawless from green flag to checkered. That's the only 2 flags you're going to see.
Yeah, it looks like 2 drivers already have had some sort of an off, and I'm trying to look back here. Yes, Dave Lanza in the 33, back on the bus stop. Had an incident on lap number 1. Lanza and Wetzel get the worst of it. Bo McGuire and John Ellers also involved. We'll see if Laura can't get a replay queued up of that one. But 4 cars involved on lap number 1 into the inner loop. Doug Fleming might have got a little bit of that as well, but at least 2 cars, Dave Lanza and Bobby Wetzel, heavily damaged in that one. Dave Lanza is back on the racetrack, but I mentioned it off the grid. Dave Lanza, it's going to hurt you to qualify back there, and you see why.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Right now, he's already a lap down. Honestly, there's just no way of him even cracking the top 10 at this point unless every single person makes a mistake. We know David Lanza is good at road courses, but when you're a lap down and you're wrecked in lap 1, there's not really much you can do to make up for that. Oh yeah, we got the 15 car right now who's in 7th place, just spinning off turn number 10, entering turn number 11. Hopefully we can get a replay of that, but he was in the top 5 there, and now just trying to get it back up and going.
Yeah, Rhett McBride's going to grab a gear here, but by the time he does, he's going to lose about 15 spots, and he's going to head to pit road, and he's going to bring another driver with him. That's John Ellers, and he was involved in the lap 1 wreck in the inner loop. So 2 drivers on pit road with damage early in this race as we work lap number 4. The leaders work lap number 4. Chad Cole over Bobby Terrell by 1 second. So couple of mistakes. We mentioned it here. No cautions to catch up. Can't make those mistakes. And for a guy like Rhett McBride, who is looking for a top 5 in the standings by the time we leave here this evening, is likely not going to find it as he sits on pit road, and it's about to go 1 lap down as Chad Cole comes out of the final corner, and he will come down and complete the 4th lap.
Yeah, and he's about to go a lap down, so, a lot of people are going to have to make mistakes in order for him to get back up in the standings right now for this race. But this is definitely not something that Rhett McBride wanted to see.
Chad Cole and Bobby Terrell continue to lead this race, and it seems like those 2 are setting a blistering pace compared to the rest of the field. Nearly a half second to a second a lap quicker are your top 2 compared to Marinek, Jones, Abbott, and the rest of the field. And the other driver that we watched off the top of the show, Kyle, is Ben Burnett. Burnett is already up to position number 6. He's got about 2 seconds to catch your leaders, but he's actually turning about the same lap times as Bobby Terrell is up there in second. So Ben Burnett might have something here, but he's got to drive the wheels off it in the next 30 laps to get there.
Oh yeah, I've been watching Ben Burnett since lap 1, since we recognized that he gained so many spots on that first lap, and this guy is wheeling this car around this racetrack like I've never seen before. He is on a mission. He wants to get up in this top 5. He wants to get up and race here with Chad Cole. 14 seconds back right now. You know, you never know. We got 36 laps here. You know, and anything can happen at this point.
We got 5 of those laps completed. We got 31 laps to go. We're going to let you have an opportunity to go out, grab your popcorn, refreshen your drink, because the start to this race has been fantastic. We're getting ready to see a 30-lap shootout to the finish here at Watkins, Glen. For the RSR Asphalt Assault, presented by Derek Spear Designs and Inside Sim Racing. Don't go away. We'll be right back on ETV Live. Welcome back to Watkins Glen International in round number 22 of the RSR Asphalt Assault Series. Chad Cole still leads, and he's actually gained a little bit on that advantage. Bobby Terrell runs in second, now 2.7 seconds behind. Marinek, Jones, and Abbott complete your top 5. Ben Burnett, Douglas Wyatt, Glenn Campbell, Chris Cable, and Brian Harvey complete your top 10. As I saw one car there go way low, and I believe that would be one of the lap cars of Aaron Truscott. After starting up in front of this field, Truscott is now 1 lap down in position number 21.
Yeah, just go back to those mistakes. You just can't make them. If you do, you're going to end up down pit road, having to fix your damage, and going down a lap. Right now, we already have over 9 cars a lap down. So, you know, definitely not something these guys wanted to see. But you know, we're talking up front right now with especially with this points battle with Bobby Terrell and Stefan Marinek. Whether he's 2 seconds behind the leader or 9 seconds behind the leader, it doesn't matter. Bobby Terrell finishes second, Steve Marinek finishes third. The points isn't going to affect that much.
Got a nice little battle back here for 11th. It's the 11 of Josh Cheney and the 4 of CJ LeVere going at it. Josh Cheney trying to pick up that spot, or trying to hold off CJ LeVere for that spot. LeVere has closed in, and he's looking to take it away as LeVere trying to force a mistake out of the driver in front of him. And then Brian Harvey also backing up to this pair as, LeVere nearly buys the farm coming off the final corner, and he's going to have to reset because he just lost a bunch of positions here. He's going to have to reset himself and try to hit his marks again because he just lost probably about a second on the driver he was chasing, Josh Cheney. And now Cheney chases the 66 of Brian Harvey. He runs wide, and Josh Cheney will pick up 1 more spot.
Yeah, we talk about CJ LeVere. He started 29th, and no, he's not making the same amount of progress as Ben Burnett has, but still very good progress as he goes on the inside of the 6-6 car, Brian Harvey, getting into the tunnel turn, or the inner loop. Bus stop.
As they continue on here, we will complete lap number 9 as Chad Cole has just completed it up in front. We're on lap number 10. He continues to pull away each lap consistently faster than Bobby Terrell. Stefan Marinek is about 9 seconds behind as another off back there by the sounds of it.
It was Douglas Wyatt in that 12 car just slammed the wall there. From the looks of it.
Yeah, one more driver went wide there too. Josh Cheney in the number 11 nearly buys the farm coming off the final corner. Tough break for Doug Wyatt. He was running in 10th place in the standings coming in. He's going to lose one more spot here to Eric Arnold as Arnold looks underneath the number 12 going down the front straightaway, and he will try to pick up the spot here. Going into corner number 1, the 47 will get on the binders in at corner number 1 to pick up that spot and move him to position number 13, but Doug Wyatt looks like he might be driving a little bit of a wounded race car now as he's falling off the pace of the 47 mighty quickly, and there's another big bobble coming through corner number 3.
Yeah, that car's not looking very good right now. Actually we just saw Eric Arnold just hit the barrier there coming off turn number 4. But still 43 seconds back is Eric Arnold.
Eric Arnold's going to try to get up on the wheel here. Rich Jett is about 7 seconds in front of him, and actually that's a battle brewing up here now with Brian Harvey. Harvey's falling like a stone in a pond as he's got Rich Jett to the back bumper in the 66 as we have Marinek coming onto pit road. He might be running this race backwards for a strategy. What are these guys thinking, you think, Kyle?
They're thinking short pit, get some 4 fresh goodies on that. Let's take advantage of those 4 fresh tires. You're gonna have to put less fuel in there, which is gonna speed up your pit stop even more and get that car back out here.
So the tires going on that race car, and he'll be down and away momentarily. It's Chad Cole continuing to lead over Bobby Terrell by 5 seconds. Jimmy Jones, John Abbott, and Ben Burnett. And Burnett now has company with the, I believe that's actually a lap car, Bobby Wetzel, but he is closing in on John Abbott for what is now position number 4. So watch that 84 car. I think he's going to have something for at least your top 3, as he's got a hot rod this evening, as long as he can keep it on the paved section of the racetrack, as he's up on John Abbott in the number 10, and they will bypass pit road here and complete lap number 11 on the track.
Yeah, it's been phenomenal watching Ben Burnett make his way through the field here. Just an excellent show that he's putting on for these fans right now. But Chad Cole right now 6 seconds ahead of Bobby Terrell, just dominating this race.
And there's the 84 moving up that spot on John Abbott. So Ben Burnett can now set his sights 2 seconds in front of him on Jimmy Jones into the 42. Burnett continues to claw his way to the front of the field as he will run now in position at number 4. Chad Cole comes up on a piece of lap traffic, and he nearly gets it in the final corner. Doug Roth in the 43 made things a little bit interesting for your leader, Chad Cole. I caught that into the corner of my eye, and we talk about on the ovals trying to catch the lap traffic at the right place. When you're catching a piece of lap traffic at a road course and it's a little bit slower, you really got to play your patience a little bit there, and Chad Cole nearly played patience into the wall in the final corner.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the replay here. He caught him in turn number 10. It looks like the car in front of him just didn't get a good corner exit off turn number 10, and you don't want to catch a car like that entering turn number 11. With that being such a sharp right-hand turn, and not a lot of room there. So definitely a close call, but Chad Cole was able to get through that pretty well.
There is the 84 of Ben Burnett on Jimmy Jones for position number 3. He'll look to the inside into the inner loop, and he will pick up the spot, and the 05 comes in as well. That's Chris Cable. Cable is on the lead lap, and he is on Jimmy Jones for position number 4 now. So John Abbott falling like a stone, and Chris Cable trying to put the number 42 at Jimmy Jones back one more position as we work lap 13 of 36 as we get ready to close off this lap here, as we've had a couple of drivers at the back down on pit road, as there goes Cable looking for the spot, and he'll pick it up on Jimmy Jones as they will swap that position. In front of them, it looks like Jose Gonzalez is a lapped car as the Ben Burnett machine works around him.
Yeah, Ben Burnett now up to 3rd place, 21 seconds back, with Chris Cable now in 4th and Jimmy Jones in 5th. They all starting to work around that lap traffic right there, and they'll get on their merry way. But CJ LeVere all the way up to 7th now. He ain't too far back from catching these guys, but you know, definitely an excellent effort for CJ LeVere and Ben Burnett, who started this race in the rear.
And Chris Cable's another driver that's on the move because he's caught Ben Burnett in the 84, and he is chasing him and was really on him going through the inner loop. Little bit of pressure released through the inner loop as the 05 of Cable looks at Ben Burnett. That's the battle for 3rd. The 42 of Jimmy Jones also looks on, and John Abbott also in the slipstream here as well. Great battle for position at number 3 as we work the completion of lap number 14. This happens about 14 seconds behind Bobby Terrell in the 7, and about 21 seconds or so behind Chad Cole in the number 21, who currently leads this race. And the 84, I believe, should be subbing for Jimmy North, if memory serves me correctly, as the 84 will have the 05 to the back bumper, and looked like the 05 was going to pitch it in a little bit harder into corner number 1 that time, but I think he thought a little wiser of it here on lap 15.
Yeah, he's got to take his time. It looks like he's a little bit loose getting through the corner, getting through turns 2, 3, and 4. He's gotta take your time. You know, Ben Burnett, he has the excellent race car. He knows how to get around here. You're not going to outbrake him without a little trouble. So, yeah, don't forget these cars do not have brake lights. The Sprint Cup cars, Nationwide cars, they don't have brake lights, so you don't really know when they're braking, which makes it even harder. Because you got to recognize what the braking. Oh, as the 84 car goes around into the kitty litter, it looks like Chris Cable got into the back of him, getting in turn number 10. Hopefully we can get a replay of that, but definitely an unfortunate situation for Ben Burnett in that 84 car and Chris Cable in that 05.
Yeah, there was definitely a lot of contact going down to that corner. It looked like Ben Burnett may have tried to brake a little bit earlier. Maybe the 05 didn't really judge what was going on in front of him, and it sends the 84 along for the ride. No harm, no foul for the 05. He's still going to be in position number 4. He's going to let Jimmy Jones through on that exchange, and he'll have to chase down the 42 again, but that's a tough break for the 84 after being so strong here. He's back on the racetrack, and I don't know how much damage he sustained. He did hit the guardrail in that corner after sliding through the kitty litter. So kitty litter on this iRacing simulation won't do anything to you. The wall definitely will, though. So we'll see what the 84 does when he comes down on pit road for his pit stop, because he might be down there for a couple of extra seconds repairing damage. He's now almost 10 seconds behind your battle for position number 3.
Yeah, I'm just looking at Ben Burnett's car right now. Just looks like a lot of rear end damage, but you gotta do nothing but feel for that guy right now. Just the way he charged up front as quick as he did, just to get hit from behind like that. It's just very unfortunate for him. Hopefully he can rebound and get a solid finish out of this.
It seems like a short track race here compared to a road course race. You got Doug Fleming and Mark Bratcher upset at each other after something that happened on lap 1 in turn 1. You've got Ben Burnett, I'm sure, not terribly happy with Chris Cable right now. It's almost like a short track race compared to a road course race as the 84 comes up on Jose Gonzalez, the lap car, to put him in the rearview mirror. But nevertheless, it seems like these tempers are overflowing a little bit here. Battle for third heating up as they come up on Doug Roth in the 43. Your leader had trouble with Doug Roth a little bit earlier. Jimmy Jones and Chris Cable going to go to the outside of Doug Roth, and now the 05 is there on the 42. Same situation 1 lap ago with the 84, but looks like the 42 will let Chris Cable have that position, and Chris Cable will move on in position at number 3. So we'll see what the 05 can do here in these next couple of laps. Want to thank Derek Spear Designs for coming on board this season for the Asphalt Assault Series on Thursday nights, along with Inside Sim Racing. Derek Spear Designs manufactures top-shelf simulation racing components such as pedals, shifters, button boxes, and much more. Reasonably priced, this is the kind of gear a championship sim racing driver needs. Bulletproof and boot stomping strong. See his gear at DerekSpearDesigns.com, and I've had the opportunity to work with Derek on a couple of occasions. If you have any issues, if you have any questions, concerns, email Derek. Really quick to get back to you. Really great guy and an asset to the sim racing community. DerekSpearDesigns.com.
And going back to that Jimmy Jones Chris Cable battle, you don't think that Jimmy Jones had that incident that lap before in the back of his mind. He moved as far right as he could going into turn number 10 just to let Chris Cable go by. He didn't want nothing to do with that.
We're at the halfway point now. We have 18 laps completed for your leader, Chad Cole, and 18 to go. Bobby Terrell is still in position number 2, 11 seconds behind. Then it's Chris Cable, Jimmy Jones, and John Abbott, your top 5. So those drivers have yet to be on pit road. Got a couple of drivers that have already come down pit road. Marvin Turnmeyer Jr. is on pit road in the 16 as we speak. Dakota Ehrman has called it a night. Josh Cheney has called it a night. Mark Bratcher, Doug Fleming, among others. Dave Lanza, Bo McGuire, John Ellers, among others who have called it a night here this evening. The last driver that's on the racetrack right now, 7 laps down, is Bobby Wetzel. As Wetzel 7 laps back. And actually your point leader too, Stefan Marinek, he came down earlier on a pit stop. He must have had some damage or something, Kyle, because he's showing us 7 laps down in the 24.
Yeah, I'm looking at his car. I was just about to ask you what the heck went on with Stefan Marinek, but I guess his car tells it all on that left side. The left front side is all caved in, so definitely a mishap for him, and 7 laps down is not good for the points league, because this will now be his 2nd week in a row where a mistake was made, and he might finish outside the top 20 here.
Let's see, 24th right now. He's got 2 drivers in front of him that are out of the race, so if he can pick up 5 more laps, at least put him in 22nd position, he might be able to catch 1 or 2 more. Let's say he finishes 20th right now. Bobby Terrell's in 2nd. There's 18 points to the 51, and you might think, oh, it's still a hit, or it's not a big hit, but it still is a hit when it comes to the championship. You still have 13 races to go after this race, so there's still a long way to go. And if he loses those 18 points, or whatever the case may be, he falls to about 30 points up on Bobby Terrell. CJ Laver in the 4. He's not having a great run. Oh, I shouldn't say that. He's running 6th right now as the pit stops begin to happen here. Ben Burnett is on to pit road in the 84 car, and the 84 has some damage to that race car, so we'll see how long that 84 is sitting on a pit road here as he is down to the attention of his crew for service on his car. But Marinek is standing to lose over a dozen points, maybe even close to 20 points, depending how this race cycles out. And he's going to have to keep on the racetrack and try to keep as many points as he can in his pocket.
Yeah, absolutely. And I bet you that crew chief of Bobby Terrell, he's telling him about the mishap of Stefan Marinek. You know that Chad Cole pretty much has a much better car than Bobby Terrell. So right now, 2nd is the best position for him. He just needs to take his time keep that car nice and clean. Do not get himself into any bad situation with lap cars, and he can pretty much have second place in the bag. But we have another situation with the 84 and the 05 coming off turn number 3 and now entering the turn number 4. Maybe we can get a replay of that. But there was no contact. We thought there was a little contact there, but he just came out of pit road and was able to get by him pretty cleanly.
Yeah, he gave him plenty of room coming off pit road to Chris Cable. Keep in mind, they're not on the same lap right now. Cable is on the lead lap in position number 3 behind Chad Cole and Bobby Terrell. Ben Burnett just pitted. He's one lap down. But you have to think, if you're Ben Burnett, I remember what happened a few laps ago, and I got to run, because if I don't run, the 05 is going to catch me, and maybe it's going to happen again. You don't know, as Ben Burnett is about 3 lengths or so ahead of Chris Cable in the 05, and Chris Cable's got about a second on Jimmy Jones in the number 42 and John Abbott in the number 10. It completes your top 5 right now. We have 10 drivers on the lead lap. All of those drivers still on the racetrack right now. The couple of close battles on the racetrack, but it's mostly, when I look back at this, lap vehicles and lap down vehicles, as Glen Campbell comes on to pit road in the 44. He will surrender a top 10 spot to do so. He comes in from position number 8, and Brian Harvey is going to come in behind him in the 66. So 44-66 on the pit road.
Yeah, and while we watch these guys down pit road, let's talk about Inside Sim Racing. Sponsoring the Thursday night Real Sim Racing series. Inside Sim Racing, your first and best choice for all news and reviews in online motorsports. Join Darren Ganji and Sean Cole for the latest and greatest in product reviews, simulation auto racing games for PCs and the Xbox crowd. From steering wheels to full-side racing gigs, updates on popular racing games, and a whole lot more. The yellow pages of online auto racing. Inside Sim Racing has it all. Visit them at www.isrtv.com.
And a great place to get all your simulation racing news, InsideSimRacing.tv, as they are one of the sponsors of this season's RSR Asphalt Assault Series, as Chad Cole and Bobby Terrell continue to put on a show out in front of this field. Battle is for position number 3. Actually, it's not a battle for position, but Chris Cable in the 05 all up on Ben Burnett in the 84. And maybe if you're Ben Burnett, you remember that. Maybe you're going to make it a little bit harder for Chris Cable to pass you if Chris Cable has that faster race car.
Yeah, it's either you make it harder or you just get out of the way, because you don't want the same thing to happen to you twice. And you gotta, in the back of Chris Cable's mind, you gotta think that maybe the 84 wants a little payback, and he's just right now 84 or the 84 car is just gonna maybe let him go by and try and rattle his cage a little bit too. So that should be in the back of Chris Cable's mind right now.
Keep in mind, these two are not running for points in this series. They're running strictly for pride, even though I believe Ben Burnett is subbing for Jimmy North in the 84, because that's usually the number that Jimmy North runs. But North not in the top 14 in the point battle right now. So these drivers really strictly running for pride. So if something happens that they get rubbed the wrong way, you might see a couple of fenders being thrown at each other. And but if you're Ben Burnett, if you're Chris Cable, Cable right now is running on the lead lap, and these guys are getting ready for their pit stops. As Chad Cole comes up out of the final corner, he will bypass pit road onto this lap. Maybe if you're Chris Cable, maybe it's time to come down pit road. Maybe try to get yourself away from Ben Burnett in the 84, as the 7 of Bobby Terrell will come up off the final corner, and I'm not sure if he's going to come to pit road this lap or not, but I believe he's going to bypass pit road this time by. So these drivers they're going to need one pit stop. I don't think they can go a full tank on 36 laps, so it's just a matter of when these drivers do decide to come on to pit road. Obviously, lighter load on the fuel means you're going to go a little bit faster because you weigh a little bit less, so maybe these drivers are waiting for it to run as close to dry as they can before they hit pit road.
Yeah, and Bobby Terrell, you got to think about that 1 point for leading a lap. he wants to get that point for leading at least one lap, because Chad Cole pretty much has this in the bag. But we're actually looking back here at the 12 car who just went around.
Yeah, four-wheel drift for Doug Wyatt going into corner number 1, and he doesn't hit the wall, but he was way hot going into corner number 1, and I think he saw Glen Campbell in front of him in the 44 and trying to really catch Glen Campbell for position number 10, and just got the thing locked up going down into corner number 1, slid it on his own, did not hit the wall, but he is going to get going again, and I believe he is going to lose at least one more spot. Maybe 2, as it looks like Brian Harvey and Ben Burnett both made their way past into that exchange. So a tough break for the number 12 of Doug Wyatt, as he's battling up in the top 10 in the point standings as well. Came into this race in position at number 10 in the standings, as Chris Cable and Ben Burnett continue to go at it down the front straightaway into corner number 1. This time the 05 down to the inside of Ben Burnett in the 84, and it's going to get tight going down into corner number 1 as the 05 is going to try to go to the inside. Ben Burnett going to give him a little bit of room, and that was almost a moment in the corner number 1 as the 05 wants that spot away from the 84. Not a lead lap spot, but a little bit of real estate in the racetrack.
Yeah, the 84 car. Oh, the 05 gets in the grass, and he's going around. There you go. He's trying a little bit too hard. And he almost gets slammed from behind. Doesn't make contact with the wall, fortunately for him. But he's gotta get that car down pit road now.
Yeah, and that's what you talk about, the 84 of Ben Burnett. Ben Burnett did nothing wrong. Ben Burnett protecting his position as they continue to go. Chris Cable is slow around this racetrack, but he did nothing wrong. Ben Burnett did nothing wrong. The 05 of Cable trying to get that spot away and driving aggressively to do so. It didn't pay off for the 05, as we'll see if Chris Cable comes down into pit road. This might be the opportunity to do so, to come down, maybe grab your tires, grab your fuel after a little bit of a slide, and then maybe try to gain whatever's left on this racetrack as the 05 of Cable comes up into the final corner, slides that car around, gets on the berm, gets on the grass. It wasn't pretty, but he is going to complete the final corner, and he will start lap 27.
Yeah, I was really surprised he didn't come down pit road there. No, his tires have to be really hot right now, as he's really struggling getting around this racetrack. He really should come down pit road. Just get those 4 fresh tires, because those tires look really hot right now, and he's just sliding around this racetrack.
We'll have 9 laps to go this time by, and Chad Cole in the number 21 will stay out on the racetrack to complete the 27th lap. Bobby Terrell is now 18 seconds behind in position number 2, with John Abbott 36 seconds back in third. Chris Cable, after that slide, is 43 seconds back the last time by, and Rich Jett will complete your top 5. Great run, consistent run for the 62 right now in position number 5 as he holds that down. CJ LeVere is the last driver on the lead lap right now, and as I say that, I believe LeVere may have got passed on that last exchange by Chad Cole, so that would put 5 drivers in the lead lap.
Yeah, and Rich, you look at that guy, he hasn't really made any mistakes. He's kept his car very clean, and he's having a really good race here. But going back to CJ LeVere and his pit stop, we're getting word that he just took fuel only. So some quick fuel in and out, and that might be a good pit strategy for CJ LeVere to pick up a lot of positions there.
Yeah, it might be a strategy call, because he's sitting third in the standings right now. Is Chad Cole on the 21 will once again bypass pit road, and he'll stay on the racetrack to complete the 28th lap. But it might be a little bit of strategy on his part when you look at the rest of the field there. Jimmy Jones, Barry Hines, J. Randall Watkins isn't up in the standings. He's been running all season long. To pick up a couple of extra positions, a couple of extra points in the standings, it might pay off for CJ LeVere by the end of this race. We'll have to wait and see what happens there as Bobby Terrell goes underneath the 57 car of Barry Hines to put him in the rearview mirror. John Abbott and Chris Cable continue to stay out in the racetrack. We'll see if they come by this time. The 10 of John Abbott works through the final corner, and he's had a consistent run here this evening as well. Kept that car clean and running up in the top 3, looking for a podium run here this evening. Chris Cable is going to try to track him down, but with the off that he had, He's got 8 seconds to track him down and about 8 laps to do so. He's got a long way to go in a short time to get there.
Yeah, absolutely. And we haven't really talked about Chad Cole a lot, but just 21 seconds ahead of second place Bobby Terrell, just being very, very consistent with his car. I've been watching the last couple of laps, and he's not making any mistakes. He knows his braking points. He's averaging 1 minute 14 seconds or 94 seconds around this racetrack, which is unheard of. But and Bobby Terrell right now, he's 21 seconds behind, but then you have like another 15 seconds back to third place John Abbott. So right now Bobby Terrell is very comfortable in second place. This is going to be an excellent points day for him if he can just keep this car clean and stay as consistent as he is now.
About 2 seconds the difference between Cole and Terrell that last lap by. It's continues to tack on for Chad Cole, and now the question is, can John Abbott reel in Bobby Terrell? And John Abbott gained nearly 2 seconds on that last lap on Bobby Terrell, so I don't know, it might be time for Terrell to come down on the pit road and maybe get 2 fresh tires or 4 fresh tires in that race car and see if he can gain anything on the rest of this field, as Cole will come by this time, and he will have 6 laps remaining in this race as he comes off the final corner, and he'll look towards the flag stand. 6 laps remaining for Chad Cole, looking for his second road course win of the season in the RSR Asphalt Assault Series, presented by Derek Spear Designs and Inside Sim Racing. Bobby Terrell in the number 7 will work through these final couple of corners, still not across the start-finish line yet. It's going to be probably about 25 seconds of difference between your top 2, and Bobby Terrell will come up out of the final corner here, and he will have 6 laps to go in the Muscle Milk number 7, and the difference between the top 2 is about 24 seconds, so looks like Chad Cole gained another second or so that last time by.
Yeah, and right now I'm just continuing to watch this 5 car, and he's just struggling really hard with this race car. His braking points are off. He's extremely loose. He really, you flat spot those tires and it just kills your race car. And I'm not really understanding why that crew chief of Chris Cable is having him stay out there, especially just watch him go around this racetrack. He's getting loose. He's under braking, over braking. It's just not a good situation for him right now.
And you're right on board with Chris Cable right now, and he's not racing for points as he comes up on Doug Roth in the number 43 to try to put him in the rearview mirror. As I mentioned, not racing for points, so maybe throw the Hail Mary, come down pit road, get those maybe tires in the race car. You might not finish where you were running in second or third, or I should say third, as Doug Roth goes around behind the 05 of Chris Cable, nearly took out the 05 as he was... I'm not sure what was going on there with Doug Roth. Maybe he cranked too much brake into it going into the corner or something, but that was close.
Yes, that would have been a very unfortunate situation there for Chris Cable. Especially right now running fourth, 4 to 3. Yeah, he's 4 to 3 seconds back, but he still has the top 5 run going. Even with the mishandling race car, but we're going back to the Roth situation. This looks like he, when he was braking there, he caught the grass, and when you catch the grass and you're braking, that car will get loose and it will take off on you. That's just not something you wanna try and do every lap.
Chad Cole continues to dominate this race. Lap number 33 being worked on the board now for the 21. Bobby Terrell, John Abbott, your top 3. And it's going to be a great night for John Abbott in the 10 if he can continue to run where he is. He sits at 589 points coming into this race. And it was really that battle between 8th and 13th, 21 points, I believe, or so, between those positions, or 26, I should say, between 8th and 13th coming in. John Abbott came in 8th, and he's going to continue to gain an advantage as Chris Cable is finally decided to throw the hand out. He's on to pit road, and whatever strategy he was trying to pull is out the window now.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, the lap before that, we saw Bobby Terrell come down pit road. So he is now 50 seconds back to Chad Cole, our points leader. So finally deciding to come down pit road. I guess that point was not that important to him. But as we talk about the leader Chad Cole, he is now down pit road, and we'll take it right to his pit stall.
We'll see what the 21 car does here on his pit stop, lap 34. He's got 3 laps to go once he gets back out onto the racetrack. Does he take tires or does it go fuel only? Fuel only, splash and go for the Valvoline, number 21, and he is down and away. And we'll see what kind of advantage he has when he comes back on the racetrack. John Abbott stays out on the racetrack in the 10, so he will close it in a little bit here. I don't think Abbott can make it the rest of the way on the fuel that is in his race car. Everybody else in the top 5 has come down pit road, and I don't know what kind of strategy Abbott's trying to pull. He might come in this next lap or so, but he's got about 2.5 laps to get to the end of this race.
He might be able to make it. Maybe he's been saving fuel this entire time, and we just didn't know it. We see it. We see it a lot. This fuel strategy situation. We see it in real life. You see it in sim racing. He might have been playing the fuel strategy game and just saving fuel. Just backing out of the corners. Not driving hard into the corners and not fully gassing it, getting off the corner. So he might be able to make it the rest of the way, but we'll see within these next 2 laps.
John Abbott still will be scored in 2nd place. He did not pass Chad Cole on the racetrack, and the 10 is going to come down onto pit road this time by. So here comes John Abbott onto pit road at 2 laps to go in this event, and we talked about that point battle. I don't think John Abbott could really risk it, staying on the racetrack and trying to risk all those points that he might lose on 9th place on back. This could be a huge night for him if he finishes up in the top 5 with the way everybody else is running in that little pack. Beau McGuire off the racetrack. Doug Wyatt, 15th place right now. Glen Campbell's the best of them right now in 9th. You have Doug Roth many laps down. Dave Lance is out of the race. And Jose Gonzalez is many laps down as well. So John Abbott down and away. Very quick pit stop, very clean pit stop, as long as he didn't speed on pit road. And he comes off behind Doug Roth and trying to figure out where this will put him in line. I'm not sure where this will put him in line, but nevertheless, it looks like Chris Cable's also back down into pit road in the 05, so it'll put John Abbott ahead of at least Chris Cable. Bobby Terrell, I believe, is ahead of John Abbott on the racetrack, indeed he is. So it'll be John Abbott back in position number 3 when this all cycles through.
Hard hit, Matthew.
As we hit that white flag lap, one more lap for Chad Cole as he exits turn number 1. We got Chad Cole in 1st, and then Bobby Terrell is right now in 2nd place.
Chad Cole is looking for another road course victory as the 24 car. Your point leader of Marinec is heading off. I believe that was in the bus stop. We'll get to that in just a few moments' time as your leader is on the final lap of the race, and he is looking for victory lane. Chad Cole in the number 21 is subbing for Matt Lacrosse this evening, as Matt Lacrosse came into this race only 11 points behind CJ Lavere. 9 points behind CJ Lavere for position number 3 in the standings. Lavere runs in position number 6. This should put Matt Lacrosse into position number 3 if Chad Cole can come through the final couple of corners without a hiccup. Works through 1, that's good. Looking at the final corner here for Chad Cole, and he will come up out of the final corner and come down to the stripe and win round number 22 of the RSR Asphalt Assault Series at Watkins Glen, his 2nd road course victory of the season, and doing it for Matt Lacrosse, and that team will have their 2nd victory on the number 21. Bobby Terrell in the number 7 will look to complete his race here in position number 2. The Muscle Milk number 7, 51 points back, coming in with Marinek finishing back in 19th place. This will be a huge gain for Bobby Terrell. 17 points right here in the bank for Bobby Terrell in the number 7.
Yeah, definitely an excellent points day for Bobby Terrell. He'll definitely take that second place finish and have Steph Marinek finish 19th. So this is like 2 races in a row where he has gained 17 plus points. As we see John Abbott, he finishes the race 3rd, and we have Rich Jett. What a day for him. He's going to come off turn number 11. He's going to finish 4th place. What a job for that 62 car. As CJ Livera, he's going to finish 5th place, and then Jimmy Jones is going to round out the top 6 here, and everyone else, Ben Burnett, Glenn Campbell, Brian Harvey, and Barry Hines rounds up your top 10, all 1 lap down.
6 cars on the lead lap. Chad Cole did some work this evening. We've caught up with Chad Cole on the radio communications. Congratulations, sir. 2nd road course victory of the season.
Yeah, Tim, appreciate it. It was definitely a struggle out there keeping those rear tires on it. It got pretty loose after about 5-8 laps or so. Just getting loose on throttle, and it's kind of difficult to hang on. Yet really had to pedal it on exit.
Talk about the call to come down to pit road with 3 laps to go. Did you think about pitting early at one point? Did the strategy play into it that you had the 20-second lead on the competition? What was the strategy on the pit call?
The strategy was really, if I ever got into kind of heavy traffic, I knew I might be slowed down a little bit, then I'd have to pit maybe a little bit early, but that didn't really happen. Guys were kind of strung out, so I was able to knock them down one at a time and was able to stretch it the entire fuel run.
You mentioned that lap traffic. You had a moment with Doug Roth earlier in the race. You had a couple of close calls with some of the lap traffic.
yeah, that one comes to mind out of that second to last corner. That one was too close, and I was loose on top of that too. Able to get through that one though.
Your 2nd road course victory. You're becoming a super sub or a road course ringer, whatever the case may be. You'll take that title, won't you?
Oh yeah, I appreciate the compliment. I really love these road courses.
I know we got Mid-Ohio coming up a little bit later on in the season. We're going to see you back here.
It really depends on my work schedule. I'd love for someone to ask me to sub though. Love that track. Plenty of laps there. I know my way around pretty well.
And you're subbing in this evening for Matt Lacrosse. Anybody else you want to thank?
Yeah, I gotta thank my teammates, Team Manchild racing tonight. It's just Glen and Dave. No guy tonight. Still need to thank him for Indy though. Last Monday, he was a big part of that, helping me with strategy, talking me through it. Derek Spear Designs, Hippies Paint Shop, and Inside Sim Racing.tv for sponsoring the Asphalt Assault TV series here tonight.
And there's your winner this evening, Chad Cole in the number 21, his 2nd road course victory of the season in this RSR Asphalt Assault Series. I believe Kyle Lent has caught up with your 2nd place finisher and 2nd in points. Big night for Bobby Terrell.
Yeah, I'm here for Bobby Terrell. Started 2nd, finished 2nd. You're 2nd in the points, and you had a really good points day. How about that, Bobby?
Yeah, that's what I need. I need a good points day, to make this series interesting,
Yeah, absolutely. This is actually the 2nd week in a row where you have gained 17 plus points on points leader Stefan Marinek. You are now a little less than a full race behind him. Do you think this points championship is still possible for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's a long shot, but I still think it's possible. Anything can happen. I mean, it's not over until race number 36.
Yeah, absolutely. And talk about your race today. Just very solid 2nd. It's just very consistent. Just talk about your night here a little bit.
Well, I was just trying, like you said, just trying to be consistent. Just trying to hit my marks. I mean, I made a few mistakes. I was trying to keep up with Chad a little bit, trying to keep him honest, and I made a few mistakes and I had a few trouble with some, lap cars, but I was trying to be real cautious too because, Stefan ended up having some trouble. So I was being really, really careful. And at times I felt like I was creeping around the track, but I was just trying to be smooth.
Yeah, when did you actually find out about Stefan Marinak's trouble, and what was your reaction to that at that point of the race?
Well, when I seen Stefan had trouble, I I wasn't driving as hard as I was, earlier in the run. I started taking it easy a little more, just trying to make a good points day out of it.
Yeah, I know Muscle Milk makes it happen for you, but I'm sure there's a lot more people that make this happen for you. So give out your shout-outs.
Well, I'd like to thank ETV, you guys up in the booth for, good job y'all do. Inside Sim Racing for sponsoring the series. Hippie's Pit Shop, Paint Shop, Derek Spear Designs. I'm sure I left somebody out. Stroker Ace, Red Ass Chassis Works. And I guess that's it. Muscle Milk.
That is your second place finisher, Tim Terry, and Bobby Terrell. We're gonna bring it back to Tim Terry. I believe you have your third place driver.
And it's John Abbott in the number 10, and John came down with 2 laps to go. I'll ask you the same question I did with Chad. What was the decision on the pit strategy when you were going to come down pit road? Was there any sort of strategy, or was it from the get-go you're going to come down with 2 laps to go?
Well, Tim, it's kind of the way we were leaning, splash and go. Just kind of looking at the fuel mileage during the race, I knew it wouldn't take much to finish. I thought everybody would have to stop. I'm not sure if the winner did or not yet, but the setup felt pretty good even late in the run, and I made a decision just to do fuel only. Thought about maybe doing 2 left sides earlier, maybe mid-race, but car felt pretty good at that point, so I just kept going.
You were involved or had the bird's eye view on one of the most intriguing battles in this race. It was yourself, Jimmy Jones, and then you had the Chris Cable, Ben Burnett battle in front of you. Talk about that little battle there mid-race.
Yeah, Jimmy and I were running pretty close together. He was a little bit better than me. I was able to hang on to him, but then Chris Cable and Ben Burnett were flying. I knew that they were real strong at Road America, and once they got to me, I let both of them go. But then I saw them racing up there, and I don't know if I was the 37 car. I think I would have let Cable go. I think it ended up biting him. But I wasn't sure if he ran off the track or Cable got into him. But anyway, it was some pretty tough racing up there.
And when it came into this evening, you were 8th place in the standings. We talked about that battle as well throughout the evening. 8th to 13th place, only separated by 26 points, with Beau McGuire not finishing the race. Doug Wyatt having a subpar night. A lot of those guys not finishing the race. Doug Roth, Dave Lanza, multiple laps down. It looks like you're going to gain a little bit on this battle and maybe close in a little bit on Brian Harvey in position number 7 in the standings. How big are you thinking points, and how invested are you in that battle there that's really close between 7th and 13th?
Well, I always like to do well on the points, but in this series I've missed a couple of races due to vacation and different things, and so it's kind of put me back in the points. I think I've missed 2 races now, so now I'd like to get a win. That's really my main goal between here on out, is just to get a win. Mainly rooting for my teammate Bobby Terrell to win the championship, so it's kind of what I'm looking at there as far as the points.
I know you got some sponsors on your car, and you got a dedicated crew that helps you with the car each week and helps you get some practice. And who makes it happen for the 10 team?
Yeah, I want to thank you, Tim, and the rest of the commentators, announcers, ETV. Y'all do a really good job. Of course, John, JD, Laura. Inside Sim Racing TV and Hippie's Paint Shop, they're the series sponsors. I want to thank both of them for coming on board. I've got iLeagueRace.com on my car for admin out there looking for a good way to manage their league. Check them out, iLeagueRace.com. That's what we use here at RSR. But other than that, my teammates at Stroker Races, I want to thank them for their help.
And that's John Abbott coming home with position number 3 here this evening. Kyle, final thoughts before we get going. It was a fantastic race here at Watkins, Glen, and next week we are going to do it all again. We're going to do another road course. We're going to go back to Mid-Ohio, so 2 road courses back-to-back here in the RSR Asphalt Assault.
Yeah, absolutely. This race here today was absolutely phenomenal. We saw a lot. We saw a domination from Chad Cole. We saw an excellent points day for Bobby Terrell. We saw a lot of side-by-side action, a lot of bumping and banging. So definitely a good race here, and I'm looking forward to Mid-Ohio next week.
Didn't have a whole lot of time to talk to Steve Bonesteel, but we'll talk to him now. Steve, what did you think of the Asphalt Assault Series at Watkins Glen?
Well, while I was really quiet all race long, I noticed one thing. Everywhere on the track, there was something going on. There was 2 wide racing in the bus stop when, Chad Cole was out stretching his lead out. There was something going on everywhere. Great entertainment all race long.
And we will see a lot of that excitement coming up in 1 week time when we head to Mid-Ohio. Going to be exciting to see these drivers once again on their 3rd road course race of the season. That's going to wrap up round number 22 of the RSR Asphalt Assault Series. Want to thank Inside Sim Racing and Derek Spear Designs for all their help putting on this show. And of course, check out realsimracing.com for all the great racing action on the iRacing platform. So for Laura Lawson, Evan Pasoko, Kyle Lend, and Steve, my name is Tim Terry saying we'll see you next week when we say let's go racing from the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Keep the hammer down and we'll see you at the track.